every tough battle, when it's a win and play-in situation, sometimes there has to be a loser. In fact, all the time there has to be a loser. And unfortunately, McKinney High was the team to get in. Good for them, but for Boyd, they ended up being the team just outside the playoffs. We're joined by head coach Rochelle Vaughn. And coach, it was a tough game, the last game of the season. So much hype around the game. If you won, you would have been in the playoffs, but McKinney won, and they squeaked by that 6-point margin.
Yes. I think for us, it was a great comeback. We were down 9 points with like 2 minutes left, and we cut it to 3 with about 30-some seconds. And they just, for them, I guess, fortunately made free throws. We were hoping they were going to miss because we were furious in our full court pressure. But it was a great game, great atmosphere for girls basketball.
Your team throughout district play, you started 2-3, a really strong start, had wins over Allen and McKinney. But then the injury bug hit you a little bit, and at the wrong time when you're playing some of the best teams in the district.
Yeah, I think our district from top to bottom was pretty tough. I think obviously the clear front runners were Plano West and Plano. And then the next 4, we kind of bunched in, kind of beat each other to get those last 2 spots. But even those teams that made it, Plano East and McKinney High, are great teams as well. So for us, it was a tough battle, just trying to squeak out wins. I think a lot of our games were very close. Needed more execution as far as free throws were concerned, turnovers, taking care of the basketball, and just executing our offenses.
And if you look at the last 3 games of your season, they were all 2 6-point games and 1 5-point game between teams that were with you, and the 4 bottom teams in district. Of course, Plano West and Plano had tremendous seasons. They were the front runners, but it was the quality of teams. There really wasn't much difference in the bottom 4.
Right. Totally agree. I think any given night you can come out with a win if you play your best. If you don't play your best, you can struggle. And we had some games where we didn't always bring our best effort as far as the entire team. We had one girl would shine, but not all 5 of us would shine. We averaged too many turnovers. I think we averaged about 18 a game. And in our district, we just can't afford to turn the ball over when we struggle to score.
Julia Hendrick had a really strong district season. She led your team in scoring through the first 6 games. She's really the go-to player you needed at certain points.
Yeah, for us, she was our, I call her our Energizer Bunny. She played with a lot of emotion. She was the type of player that she gets motivated and hyped when she scores. And she does a good job of that. She does a great job rebounding. Very, very athletic young lady. So for us, that was our strong suit. We wanted to go into her a lot. Unfortunately, we played some teams who are bigger than we are. She kind of struggled, so then therefore we struggled.
KK Gonzales and Jordan Brightwell, they were 2 other really big contributors to your team in district play.
Yeah, I think KK is our heart and soul. When she was healthy, the 4 games she got to play, we were competitive. And when she was out, I mean, she did a good job cheering on her team from the bench, but you could see that we missed that spark that she brought us. And it was things that you can't really see on the stat sheet. She does all the little things. She took about 3 or 4 charges a game. She was very unselfish with her body and with how she played for our team.
And defensively, you talked about earlier how you had a full court press against McKinney, and really defensively is where this team really sort of made their name in district play. You had a lot of low-scoring affairs throughout it all.
Yeah, we know we can't score. We don't have a lot of offensive weapons, so we had to kind of slow it down. We used our 3-quarter court press to kind of make people make a lot of passes back into the zone, just to kind of help us out because we're not that big. We needed, we play mostly guards, and we had to use that to help us, get rebounds and try to compete.
Your senior point guard, Charmaine, she was injured earlier in the year, and she came and had a couple big district performances, had 9 points against Allen and 8 in that final game against McKinney. What did she bring to your team?
I think overall she was very poised for our senior point guard position. She kept us steady. She played a lot of minutes at the end on a hurt knee. She has a bone bruise in her knee. So she kind of sucked it up for us, which was great because we kind of needed her to just keep us steady. She's the only true point guard that we have on our team right now. We're trying to develop some younger girls. But for us, from a coaching standpoint, she just kind of knew what we wanted to do as far as our game plan was concerned and help us execute it.
You have 6 seniors that are going to graduate and unfortunately leave your team. And of your young players returning, Haley Carruthers is really the standout that can lead your team next year.
Yeah, Haley, has stepped into a bigger role for us next year. She was our captain this year, but she has to be more of a leader for us as far as on the court, getting all the girls to buy in and making sure we're all on the same page. And for her, she might have to move to the point guard position, which she's never done before. So hopefully, we can keep getting better. She has to keep getting better. But she's going to have a great future for us.
Who are a couple players that are the underclassmen that are going to have to step up next year that you think have the ability to do that?
I think we have a freshman this year, Jordan Hernandez, has great upside for us. She has to get a little bit stronger, but she wants to be good, and she puts in the time. I think Jordan Bardwell is a sophomore, our post player. She has to get some more offensive moves because she's a great defender for us, but she has to build her confidence as far as offense is concerned. I think Kyla Stampley will come back for us. She'll be a senior, strong body, good post player that can kind of get more playing time. So we have a couple people who we're looking at to hopefully step into those leadership roles.
Finally, your rival, McKinney, they're playing their playoff game tonight against Skyline. You played Skyline earlier the year, and you mentioned to me it was one of your better games of the season. You played them well. What do you see in that matchup? Do you think the McKinney Lions are going to be able to get the win in that game?
Yeah, I think Coach Harris does a great job of scouting. I think they're going to come out in a zone. Against Skyline, you have to kind of slow them down because they're super big all over. I think they have like 5'11", 6 foot, 6'3" post player. McKinney's not that big, but they're very scrappy. I think Mitchell has to have a great game for him to have a shot. If they do that, you know, any given night you can beat anybody, and I'm pretty sure Coach Harris will have them ready.
Coach Vaughn, thanks again for coming on the show today with us.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck to you next year. For the Boyd Lady Broncos, unfortunately 2-8 in district play, just finishing a game outside of the playoffs with a loss to McKinney in the last game of the season. But with Haley Carruthers returning next year and several young players stepping up, they'll look to get right back in the thick of things in district play the next season.